everybody, it's Ongets 134 here.
And as always, I'm Average Joe Squad.
Welcome to another episode of Remember the Hyphen, the show where we look at comic books, movies, and everything in between. Finger guns.
It's back because no contact.
So...
As we break the 6-foot rule.
Well, again, we work in retail, so...
If I die, I die.
We break the 6-foot rule anyways, because nobody, even when we're under quarantine, is like, hey, you gotta maintain 6-foot distance. Well, that doesn't apply to you retail people. You're not people.
Yeah, that's basically how people act.
But anyway, so... Continuing from the last episode, since we're basically recording at least 2 of these whenever we're together.
We might as well stockpile because, let's be honest, most of you people are home, so you guys have an appetite for new content.
Yeah. That we're probably gonna actually have enough content to get us through to the end of the end of this. It also helps that we have days off now, so we can record as much as we want. But
thankfully, that was the one good thing with our new work schedules.
Yeah. Basically, we're gonna continue off our tangent from before. We're going to talk about our experiences with video rental stores. Now, to give you an idea of what you young folk, those of you who were born after 2005,
and if any of you need a visual representation, please go check out Cinemassacre's rental reviews. Gives you a great example.
No, every time I go, like even before like they redid the
they moved it out of the basement.
Yeah, they moved it out of the basement. I honestly don't see why they needed to, because like it looked like an old school video.
That old school den wood, like covering the walls.
Like not like that. It looks like if you were like going to like a weird store.
It looks like the video rental store from where we live.
Yeah,
like actually, you remember like going.
Yeah,
we'll get into it in a bit.
But basically, back in the old days when it was harder to buy movies because
they were expensive.
Well, they were expensive, and it was kind of a new like even up until the transition to DVDs. It was a weird concept to be able to have media on something you could just pop in and watch. You know, a lot of times you were, if it didn't show up on TV, you were out of luck, or you couldn't afford to go to see the movie. That's actually why comic books used to do a lot of movie tie-in books, where they were like Batman and Robin, the motion picture comic thing that happened. But thankfully, someone came up with the idea, what if instead of just going to libraries where you can get them for way cheaper, we just had a store where you'd come in, you'd pick out what videos you wanted to watch, you'd go up to the register, they'd give you the copy, and you would be able to watch it for a couple days. I think usually the longest being like a week. Some places I think it was only like 3 days.
Most places I remember it was 3 days.
Yeah,
3 days or 1 night.
3 to 5 days. So I'll say Hollywood Video, it was 3 days.
Yeah, most of them were 3 days.
Most of them were 3 days. Although I think later on some of them were like, I think it was for new releases it would be 3 days, and then older releases it'd be like a week.
Yeah, and now with this, I really feel like the rise of home video also coincided with the rise of, to kind of tie it into music a little bit, home taping is killing the music industry.
Yeah.
Home taping probably was already going to start killing the video industry
I think
before it got off the ground.
Later on you could actually just buy movies. They would actually just have like...
Yes, Hollywood Video used to sell them.
Yeah, which is hilarious because, like, I think basically Walmart and Kmart kind of killed that whole buying videotapes at rental stores.
We'll get into it a little later because I have a couple theories on what killed the rental industry.
There's lots.
Me and Adam have a very unique perspective on this because we grew up in roughly the same area. So you and I probably frequented a lot of the same. We probably, if you really think about it, we probably ran into each other at the video rental store and did not know it. Which is weird to think about when you live in the same area as somebody. You've probably ran into them before, and you just don't remember it.
It is kind of ironic.
Like I said, you and I have probably ran into each other at that store.
Although it probably didn't help. It probably helped that I was much older, so it wasn't like
because you gotta remember, I was 5 in 2001.
Yes, and I was 11. But so they're basically, and I'm not. There were about 3 places in our city, and to be fair, you had to like drive in to get the one. We had Hollywood Video, which is the one that was here, which sadly is no more. It's a
none of these stores are. Well, it's not even an antique store anymore. It's gym.
It's a gym.
But there was another one. And this was the one where I got a lot of my stuff from. When I lived in, I used to live over in Linesville.
Oh yeah. Okay. So yeah, you probably know.
I went to Hollywood Videos.
Yeah.
Which were similar in name, but they were not the same store.
No, they were not.
And then you had Blockbuster.
Oh yeah, which
I never went to. I never went to Blockbuster.
I did occasionally, but it was so much more expensive than Hollywood Video.
Yeah, that was my issue.
The other I went to was back when Giant Eagle used to have a video.
Yeah, that one I used to get a lot. You know why I used to go to that one? Because they had the Batman Beyond tapes.
Oh yeah, they had
that was the quality.
They had the Sonic OVA on there, which I used to get a lot because I was like, wow, this is so cool.
I have a memory that will make you laugh. All right, so the Batman Beyond tapes, I knew exactly where they were. You would go in the doors, and they would have they had 8 shelves. Remember on the right hand side, the Batman Beyond ones were always on the very end with the animation stuff.
Oh yeah,
and they were on the top shelf. So I would have to jump.
Yeah, you
and
would
grab the case.
You would, because he's a short boy.
And I was short even then. I remember climbing the shelves to get the because they always put them on top shelves. I had to climb to get the Batman Beyond ones.
I remember going because they used to have the horror version of Jack Frost, the one with the 3D cover that would make this. I actually always remember seeing that. I was like, what is that? Although I don't know why they need to make a horror version of that. Like, the original Jack Frost is scary enough with Michael Keaton as a snowman.
But, I think, let's dive into to Hollywood Video first, I guess.
Oh, yeah, because that probably is the one you and I went to
memories of.
I actually went to the school with the daughter of the people that own that store, actually.
Did you really?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So basically, I used to go to my grandma's house a lot on Friday nights when I was a kid. I would spend the night, and the treat for me would be we would go rent a movie. And usually, the funny thing is, and I brought this up later, I would rent movies I already owned.
Yeah.
Because I just wouldn't bring them. I would just go rent them because that would be the thing. We go out to dinner, we go get a movie, then we come back, watch a movie. And basically the way Hollywood Video was laid out, you would go in and they would have these big double doors that were like glass.
Yeah.
And you would go in and you would have the movies. They would have the up front would all be all movies, and then they would have a little area where you would go down.
Oh yeah, because they used to
have the
right
hand side used to be where the video games were, like the NES.
Yeah, they had some Genesis. Yeah, they had Sonic 2 and I think Clay Fighter.
They had Maximum Carnage.
Yeah, they did have Maximum Carnage.
Not even Maximum Carnage. They had they had Separation Anxiety.
Oh yeah, they did have Separation Anxiety.
Now that I think about it, because I remember looking at that, being like, "What the hell is this?" Because I was a Spider-Man guy.
That was
like, "What is this?"
That was because after Maximum Carnage, they did a couple of arcade fighters.
And I think
where it was about Spider-Man and Venom teaming up.
I think that game is actually harder to find on
it really is
than Maximum Carnage is.
Because there was Separation Anxiety and there was one other one. I think it was just called Spider-Man and Venom.
Yeah, it was just called Spider-Man.
Yeah. Separation Anxiety is really weird because it's dealing with a comic book story where Venom, basically someone extracted a bunch of seeds from the Venom symbiote to make a bunch of symbiote soldiers.
And it leads to a bunch of other symbiotes. Like you have Scream, and most of these have stuck around. Scream actually has her own comic now, where she is now bonded with Andy Benton, who most of you know comic book wise, and for those who don't, she was a character introduced during the Agent Venom run with Flash Thompson being the host of Venom, and she also is bonded with a part of Venom, which is called the Mania symbiote.
Yeah. Actually, I want to say the villain of the Venom movie is actually one of those symbiotes.
Riot.
Yeah, Riot.
Riot's in there. Yeah.
Because I think he and Venom kind of hate each other. Because Riot looks a lot like
I have that
Venom.
trade, but I've never read it.
Yeah. That was a great idea, movie guys. Let's have the symbiote that Venom fights in his first movie look exactly like him. So it'd be hard to tell which one was which. That's good.
It's all gonna get better because now we're gonna have Carnage.
I mean, yeah, I honestly think they should have went with Carnage.
I saw an article saying that they're going to work up to the symbiote god stuff being introduced, which I'm like, if they do it well, okay. I'm not a big fan of that, but anyway, you used to be able to walk down into the second level, which was where they kept all the animation stuff. You'd have all the kids' movies,
which was always hilarious because there was that and much older stuff that they had. And then all the way,
the Universal stuff was in
and then
there.
all the way in the back they had the horror movies, which I'm like some of those covers, I actually didn't like going into the horror section because as a kid, because I was like, no, I don't even like looking at the covers.
I didn't either, but
because I was a big baby.
I frequented the animation stuff, and I still remember to this day what they had because I knew down to a T what video store had what.
Oh no, my mother used to hate when I go into because I'd always buy the same animations.
Oh, same. At Hollywood Video, I used to get Batman Beyond the movie, which I owned, so I don't know why I would rent it, because I already owned it.
Yeah.
Mask of the Phantasm.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Which I want to say was the clamshell version. It wasn't the soft one that I had, because I have the soft shell.
Yeah,
one.
I actually never had Mask of the Phantasm until I was much older on DVD. Although when I got Batman Superman World's Finest, the movie, it actually came packed in with a small version of the graphic novel of Mask of the Phantasm.
Did it really?
It did.
They didn't have any other Batman Beyond stuff at there. They did not have Return of the Joker. I remember that very vividly.
I think
nobody had Return of the Joker. I had that on tape. I don't think any video store, maybe Blockbuster.
I almost thought they had, because I thought I used to rent that from there a lot.
No, I never once rented it from Hollywood Video, so I don't think they had it.
Maybe I'm not sure how I remember them, but
but there was other stuff I used to rent from there. I used to rent Scooby Doo from there a lot.
Oh yeah, they had like
DuckTales. I used to get DuckTales.
They had a VHS set that was just episodes of Scooby Doo and Scrappy Doo.
Yeah, I used to rent those.
Some of the better ones too. Like they had the one with where like they fight like the Neon Phantom, which actually I thought was one of their cooler monsters in designs.
They had the TMNT series.
Oh yeah,
I used to rent those. Those tapes. When I was getting those tapes, those tapes were horrible because they were worn out.
Yeah, because they had them back when the Turtles were a thing.
Yeah, so people rented them a lot. Those were worn out at that point. Same with their Star Wars tapes. Those were gone.
They actually had the VHS that has the 5 episodes first season, because the first season's only 5 episodes. What's funny about that is they actually reversed episodes 3 and 4 on the VHS. So you would get the episode where they fight Krang, and then it would go to the episode where it explains how they know who Krang is. Because the first episode with Krang, he doesn't have his android body. He's in a little chair thing, because the thing about Krang is when he was banished from Dimension X, for some reason it actually destroyed his body and reduced him to like this weird brain thing. And basically the first season is basically Krang begging Shredder to make him a body. I don't know why he's asking this ancient Japanese ninja to make him a robot body, but like legitimately, if you watch these episodes, you're like, why is who's Krang? Who's Baxter Stockman? Because literally, the third episode is Baxter Stockman building his mousers, and it takes out April's apartment. So like you really watch them out of order.
It's a continuity error.
Basically. Yeah, basically.
Because there was that. I can't remember what it is, and you'll probably be able to tell me. It was a DuckTales related thing. I remember it was a tape I rented. And I think it was a movie. It was
probably Treasure of the Lost Lamp, the cinema.
They go to his summer home, and he's like, my piggy bank, it's still got money in it. like, do you remember what that is?
That might be just an episode collection then.
I think it was an episode collection.
I think they did have Treasure of the Lost Lamp in it though.
I rented that. I remember renting the first Power Rangers movie there. And
they had Power Rangers.
I was never a Power Rangers.
They actually had one of the VHSs that contained some of the Green with Envy episodes. Basically the 6-parter. Yeah, because there was a 6-part episode set where it was them introducing Tommy as the Green Ranger, which is probably in my opinion, like one of the best parts of the original Mighty Morphin era. A lot of people will say Mighty Morphin is the best Power Ranger series ever, which I'm like, it's only good in my opinion because it's the first.
Yeah.
Like I love episodes of Mighty Morphin, but it is not as aged as like I like it because of what it is and it's important. But like for me, I think like later Zordon era seasons are much better. When they dropped the Zordon stuff altogether, in my opinion, they started picking up really good like Time Force, Lightspeed Rescue. Yeah. There's a VHS, an anime VHS they had there called Time Fighters in the Land of Fantasy that I rented once and then they lost it. Where I think the tape broke. I actually found again, it's an anime collection of this TV show called Time Bokon. Where literally they took the series, spliced it up, cut it up and spliced it together into 2 90-minute VHSs. Where literally they try to tell the whole story of that show in 2 VHS. It's so bad. Especially because every episode the villains have a song they sing. So literally, like every 10 minutes you have a song you have to listen to, and it's just
you're gonna love this.
Yeah.
So when I was young, I can't remember. It was probably on the early days of the internet when I was at my grandma's house using dial-up.
Yeah.
Back when CartoonNetwork.com was actually a good place to play freaking Flash games.
I remember those days.
I remember reading somewhere. I think it was on CartoonNetwork.com. About, well, the Batman pilot is called Rebirth, and I didn't know that. I was like, well, there's Batman Beyond the movie. Isn't Batman Beyond the movie? Is it different? So I went to the rental store and asked them, do you have Batman Beyond Rebirth? And I was like, I did not know. I'm like, it's just the fucking pilot.
Yeah, because
it's just the pilot.
Because TV shows cartoon shows were weird.
Because they don't even mention it on the box.
No, they don't.
That it's Rebirth.
No.
It's Batman Beyond the movie. Because I have the DVD.
Speaking of, for a long time, this is the only way I could watch Darkwing Duck after they stopped airing it. Because I used to rent the VHSs for Darkwing Duck there too. Actually, now I remember they did have Now that I'm thinking about it, they did have DuckTales ones. I never rented those because I was more of a Darkwing Duck kid.
I rented a couple of them. I never rented them more than once.
I was more of a Darkwing Duck kid, so I used to rent their Darkwing Duck because they actually have some of the episodes. Those were episodes that they were on VHS. They have still yet to release those on DVD.
So when that place closed down, you should have went and got them.
I should have, but the thing was, it closed down when I was in college.
Oh, because here's the thing.
Which is why I never
remember going to the sale when that place closed down. I went to it, and I actually, up until recently, when I ditched a bunch of my VHS tapes because they got ruined.
Yeah.
I had quite a few tapes from there. Like I had Alien Resurrection on VHS.
You would.
I had Alien 3 on VHS. I'm trying to think what else did I have? I had the Buffy movie on tape there.
I used to rent some of their comedies. I used to rent I used to rent The New Guy all the time from that, and it was mainly because of when I got to be into like my teens. It was because of Elijah Dushku in a bikini. But
do you remember? And this is something I'm sure is not unique. Do you remember how so sun faded?
Oh, their boxes.
Do you remember Batman
bad.
Returns? Remember Batman Returns was like horribly sun faded at that point. Did they have the Superman movies? Because I don't remember.
They did have the Superman movies. I think they only had they did, but they didn't have the first one. They only had 2, 3, and 4.
Because I don't remember those. I never rented those. I rented Batman '89. I only watched up to the middle of it because I got bored. Because kid with an ADHD thing. Yeah. I never rented Batman Returns. Actually, the one I rented the most was Batman and Robin because I love that movie.
I have it on VHS actually, so I didn't rent that. But they actually had the Adam West TV show movie.
I don't remember them having that, but I don't think I ever watched that.
Because
I don't think I watched that till I was in middle school.
I remember I rented it thinking it was the '89 Batman,
and you threw it on. You're like, what is this?
Yeah, this looks cheap and kind of bad. Actually, no. When I was a kid, I was like, I don't know what this is, but this is awesome. More Batman, please. They had a couple of Batman VHSs. In fact, they had the VHS with Dreams in Darkness in it, the one where he gets doused with scarecrow gas and sent to the asylum.
See, I don't remember those ones at all.
That's fair, because you rented Beyond more than me, but
yeah, I which is weird because like I loved Batman, but like it was at that point when I was a kid, you couldn't get TAS on tape.
No, you could not.
You could get Mask of the Phantasm and Batman Mr. Freeze Sub-Zero. That was it. And Mystery of the Batwoman came out years later, but like so when I was a kid, like I could get Batman Beyond on episodes on tapes. Like I didn't think you could get the other series at all.
No.
Like I knew they weren't making it at that point. I was like okay, I guess you can only get Batman Beyond.
Because I did have a couple. I had because they would package the episodes dealing with certain villains. I had a Batman. Well, and then they did make ones that were about like Batman and Robin and Batgirl. I had the Batman one because Batman was my favorite character. I had it, which had the great Beware the Great Ghost and Dreams into Darkness. Basically the one with both Batmen. The one where Scarecrow gasses Batman in order to keep.
Is that the one where he's hanging on the front of the blimp?
No, it's the episode where he gets sent to the asylum. Where it opens with Batman in Arkham Asylum.
Oh yeah, it's that one. It's that one.
The one that's really trippy and like actually.
I think I saw that once as a kid. That episode freaked me out.
It has one of my favorite endings because basically Batman, after he stops everything, he finally takes the medicine, which is going to put him into sleep for 2 days, and he's not sleeping up in the manor. He's sleeping in the Batcave because he's like, this is where I feel safe, and it ends with this bat basically it's the sun's coming out, so the bat's yawning and stretching its wings, and then it closes them up, and it shows the shadow of the bat over Bruce as the wings close over him, as if saying Batman is protecting him in the cave. I had that, and I had the Riddler episodes, which is the first episode, If You're So Smart, Why Aren't You Rich? And oddly, not the second one, What Is Reality, but actually the third one, Riddler's Reform, which is, in my opinion, the better.
When I move, because I still have all my Batman tapes, we'll have to, like, dive into, like, what
I'm curious to see what you have.
Like, I wouldn't recommend playing them, because they've got mold in them, because they've been in a basement for 2 decades now, but
it was actually...
It's nice to have them, because it's a relic of, like, this is what, for a while, this is all you had. Unless you taped it off TV.
It was interesting because I think Hollywood Video, they really didn't have a lot of DVDs once the DVDs became a thing.
They upgraded some.
Yeah.
But for them, it was mostly
VHS,
it was mostly VHS, except for new releases.
Yeah.
New releases were always on DVD, and they never had Blu-ray.
Well, I remember because I used to rent Die Another Day was my favorite Bond movie when it came out, mostly because, again, Halle Berry in a bikini. But I actually watched that on VHS originally. But, like, it was actually kind of interesting because, like, they really, because they were like it was like an old school video store. Like, they legitimately really did not have a lot of
I wish I had
DVDs.
I wish I had bought some of those shelves they had, because those are nice shelves.
Yeah, they had some nice shelves.
There's probably a Google article somewhere how to make those. Maybe when I move, maybe I'll make a couple of those.
Because they were interesting, because they didn't do it like how other video stores rented videos. Like, you didn't, like, take, like, the box off. You know, because, like...
They had the clamshell behind it.
Yeah, because basically they had, I remember when I, like, older, they had these little tabs. Because how other video stores did it, you would pick up the box.
The tabs are what I remember. The tabs were the most... And they were like bread tabs.
Yeah, but to give an idea of, like, how other video stores would do it, you would pick up the box, because they would just basically have, like, copies of the movie. But they weren't the movie. Like, they would put a piece of foam, if it were, like, just the cardboard box, the sleeve. They would put a piece of foam in there, and then they would shrink wrap it. And you would take that up, and they would give you the video, which was then in, like, a case. That's
kind of how Giant Eagle, I remember, did it. But Giant Eagle, they had the clamshells behind it, but they were empty.
Yeah.
So you would just have to take the clamshell up, and they would go get it.
Yeah. So that way they would know what is out, and so people could come up and see, oh, they don't have it. How Hollywood Video did it, basically they had bread tabs that they would put on hooks,
and they would put it would be like alphabetized, and it would have a number.
And so basically, you take the tab up, and you'd set it on, and you'd have a couple tabs because you I think rent I think 3 or 4 movies.
I think 3 was the limit.
Yeah, 3
was
the
limit. You could get 3,
and you'd slide them up, and then they had all their tapes behind them in the back, and they would go and find the tab matching the many copies of it, and then they'd bring it to you. And
I can still remember how they had that desk laid out, because basically you had the desk.
Oh, I do too.
You had the desk, you had the candy store, they had the candy thing right here, you had a file cabinet on that side with the TV up on top, the computer's back there, and then the back room was where all the tapes were.
And then they had a basement, which I always wondered what was down there. I never knew.
I always wanted to know what was in that basement.
I know, I'm like, do you have more movies down there? Is that the naughty section?
Movies for mom and dad.
I don't think they had a mom and dad section.
No, I don't think they did. I think that was just probably storage.
Probably was, but I was always curious to see if they had really obscure stuff down there that they just didn't sell anymore. Actually, speaking of obscure stuff they had, but yeah, basically they'd make you sign a paper, basically stating we'll bring these back and they will be rewound, because I remember I think they had
please be kind, rewind,
because basically. To be fair, a lot of people argue rewinding the tapes actually degrades them faster, but
which reminds me, did you? And this is gonna be a really early. This is gonna be a really '90s, early 2000s thing. Did you rewind the tapes in the VCR? Or did you have a rewinder?
We rewound them in the VCR. We didn't have a rewinder. We couldn't afford a rewinder.
I had a couple rewinders, which was just for those that don't know, a rewinder was a little external thing that looked kind of like. Basically, you would put the tape in, turn it, and its whole point was going to rewind the tape. Yeah. That was it. That way, because there was a thing where people would say, if you rewind the tape in the VCR, you're going to make the VCR go bad and stuff. And also, I guess it was harder for the tape to get unwound in the rewinder than it was in the VCR. People were worried about the tape getting eaten. I can't remember exactly why that was a thing.
Yeah, I think the rewinding thing was basically because no one likes it when you get the video.
Pop it out and it's like, son of a bitch, I gotta rewind this damn thing.
Yeah, basically that's why because basically that's...
It's like getting a cassette tape and you want to hear the one side and I gotta freaking rewind this whole thing.
I think also there's too much time for them to be rewinding things all the time because
yeah. Like there was, I don't remember there being a fine, but they had the sticker on it said, please be kind, rewind.
I thought they had I thought it was like a.
They might have, but the point where I was renting, they didn't.
Yeah,
there were a couple of times I know they had a
late fee. I know they did.
There was a late fee. I think it was like $1 a day.
Yeah, because my mother was very adamant on making sure we got them back before. To be honest, because I didn't because basically it used to be a reward for me if I did really well in school. I would basically get to rent movies, mainly because unlike him where he had satellite, I did not have cable or anything of the sort until I was 14. Basically, we lived just outside the cable line back in the day. Like literally, the cable stopped at the house right before us, and it didn't go any further. Nowadays, you can get cable anywhere.
Oh yeah, you can get satellite anywhere even.
Satellite anywhere. Well, and satellite was just too expensive.
Well, and like you said, satellite in its very early days was very finicky.
So basically, I had two options. Either I would rent videos from there, or I would have to wait for my grandmother to film it because she had cable. And this was back when Disney was still was actually PBS where it didn't have commercials and you had to you had to pay for it like HBO.
Basically it was pay-per-view.
Yeah, because I had a lot of VHSs that had a lot of old school Disney channels because old school Disney Channel was amazing. They just have a drive-in movie thing where they would show old black and white movies like Zorro and other black and white stuff, part of Disney's old library. But for me, it was either that or I rent videos. I actually didn't really go to Giant Eagle or Blockbuster as much, but usually because I think Giant Eagle used to actually give rewards for Conneaut Lake High School or Conneaut Lake Elementary that if you did really well, they would basically, they gave you passes where you can rent videos for free.
I think they did the same for Linesville.
I wouldn't be surprised.
The thing with me was my mom shopped at Giant Eagle a lot because Giant Eagle was also where I got a lot of my comic books.
You'll have to apologize for me moving around a lot. My back's just getting sore.
But yeah, Giant Eagle was where I used to get a lot of my comic books. That's why you've looked through my comics, and you can actually see a couple that over the barcode they still say have the Giant Eagle logo says paid.
Oh man, I forgot when
they say paid for.
They had comics for a long time.
Yeah, up until I think 2010 they stopped.
Yeah, I want to say it was 2010. I think they still have Archie I think they still had Archie and Sonic though.
Because I don't think they'd have those. I
don't think they have those anymore now.
There,
they still briefly had Sonic and Archie for a short period.
I really rented from the Giant Eagle rental store, which I can't remember when that went out. Do you remember? Because it used
that went out. I think before Hollywood Videos actually went out. Because I think basically Giant Eagles just stopped.
Yeah, because basically, it's funny. I can still remember how that store was set up. You'd have the rental store, and on the outside of it was where the magazines were.
Actually, they even had a Dreamcast demo set up there too.
I don't remember that. I remember the PlayStation demo they had.
Yeah, they had a Dreamcast one. I remember because I think I played Sonic Adventure a couple times.
That was the thing, and since you're a little older than me, you'll probably remember this maybe. So Hollywood Video used to be able to rent games there.
Yeah, I never rented them.
Did they rent the systems too? Because I know
they did not.
Okay, because I remember some rental stores did that.
Some rental stores
some would rent VCRs to people that didn't have them.
Yeah, I think I was even though I'm a little bit older than you, they stopped doing that because basically it was easy to get VCRs at that point. Because my family had a VCR. We had VCRs ever since I can remember.
I had a VCR when I was 4, man, which I was.
Because I think that's
I was kind of. The perks of being the only child of your mom, I guess, is because same. I had my own TV and I had a VCR in my room.
Yeah.
So I was king shit basically.
I actually, when I was little, my grandmother got me me and my cousin one of those TVs that had the built-in VCRs, which was awesome.
I think I had one of those at one point and it broke.
Yeah.
My VCR was weird. It was blue, orange tape lid and had orange buttons on it. The remote was a piece of shit and it never worked. So I always had to if I wanted to stop it or pause it, I had to get up and hit stop on it.
I don't think because I think that because way back this was before him and even I were born. I don't know about the consoles, but I do remember video stores actually allowed you to rent VCRs because not everybody had them. Those were not considered a commodity. That didn't really become a thing until the 90s when it was cheaper to just get VCRs, and thankfully, thanks to the home video release thing, made them more popular.
Basically.
Well, then they kind of became necessary because it was easier to to catch TV shows if you had a way to record it.
Yeah, you could just tape stuff off TV.
But I don't think Hollywood Video.
Did Hollywood Video ever sell blanks? Do you know?
Yeah, they did actually. They did sell blanks. You could buy blank VHS tapes there. I think it wasn't as cheap though as getting them at like Walmart, because I think you could buy like a.
No, it was much cheaper to get them at Walmart, even Kmart. You could get them cheaper.
Yeah, sadly, I think that basically was one of the. But speaking of, because I just said, so you know, I said I went to, school with that girl that. She actually would bring in like new releases that like basically the demo tapes they used to get. For those of you who don't know, the tapes they used to play in TVs there were actually demos. Because they didn't play, like, the stuff that people would buy. They had demos that would basically be, like... Because I remember, because she let us watch the original Jimmy Neutron. She brought it, and it was a demo. Because as we were watching it, I was always noticed that it had this thing on it that says, this is a demo, this is not for home watch, please do not.
Oh, basically kind of like the reproduct... Like, don't use for home viewing.
Yeah.
This is a demo.
Yeah. But but like her parents let her anyways. But I
don't think anybody cared.
No, I didn't want to be cared. But it was kind of.
It's like the FBI warning at the beginning. And
I just wanted to bring that up because it was really cool.
That's kind of cool, honestly.
Because we also went to the same church. I think I remember that was how we watched, Prince of Egypt. Actually, was that, because she had a lot of like. I think actually they kept the demos because I think probably
those are probably worth money.
Well, not only that, but like.
You can't get rid of.
You can't get rid of them, so they might as well get free demos or free movies.
Yeah, Giant Eagle was always the one I went to. Hollywood Video was the one I went to the most. The one in Linesville, I don't have a lot of memories of.
Yeah, I never even went
for the
to
most
that
part,
one.
they had everything that Hollywood Video had.
Yeah.
But it was in a smaller store. I mean, there were one or two things. When I got into the movie Eddie and the Cruisers, we found out there was a second one. Mm-hmm. Hollywood Video didn't have it. We went to Hollywood Videos in Linesville. They had it.
Yeah.
Which was just weird. I think it was the only time I ran into that was where Hollywood Videos had something Hollywood Video did.
Which is so weird.
Hollywood Video had a better selection.
Yeah, because Hollywood Video had like really obscure stuff in there too. Not like because they had like.
It kind of made me sad when that place finally went out.
No, because they actually had these VHSs, which I sadly can't find on YouTube. They were called, I think, Jack Kirby Time Warrior, and basically it was about I don't even know what the deal was with them, like, if they were released on TV. I've never even found anyone talking about them on YouTube.
Which is weird.
Yeah.
That's really weird. That's some honestly obscure stuff.
This kid ends up running into this professor who has a time machine, and him and his, like, I think later they bring a knight with them for their first adventure. Basically, him and this doctor are fighting against this evil scientist in a weird robot suit.
And dude, I remember this.
They kept trying to go, because I didn't have all the episodes. I think they only had the first one and the one where they go to the giant area.
I remember this.
But basically, because I did find them on YouTube once, but they sadly got dumped off there. And it's
probably got DMCA'd.
Probably. I don't know why, because they're obscure as shit.
Yeah, it's probably one of those things. Better find it. Honestly, you and I one day needed to go through a dive on archive.org. Maybe I'll actually show you where you can get the Japanese Spider-Man stuff, because you can download all those.
We need to try and find Jack Kirby Time Warrior. But basically, it was so weird, and it was only on VHS. They had that. They had this really weird movie about like a puppet creature called Munchie, which I think was kind of supposed to be like a Gremlins thing.
Do you remember the Hanna-Barbera thing? This is a little off topic. Do you remember the Hanna-Barbera thing? It was a tape where they go to Stonehenge. Like it's like they're trying to find this stuff, and it's all hidden all across the world, and like one of them is hidden underneath Stonehenge.
It's like a race, right?
Yeah. Like one of them's hidden underneath Stonehenge. I remember that.
I do kind of. Was it with Yogi Bear?
Yes.
I think it was Yogi Bear's something race. Either that or Yogi Bear and the Spruce Goose.
It's probably one of those. I don't remember what it was called. I remember renting that a couple times, but that's like the only part I remember is that there was something hidden underneath Stonehenge.
Oh, that does sound familiar to me.
There was like an old wizard dude in it.
Oh man, it's so weird because
somebody in the comments, if you know what the hell I'm talking about, please comment what the hell that is.
Also, if you know where
I would love to rewatch that.
Also, if you know where I can watch Jack Kirby Time Warrior, you gotta tell me. Or no, it's not. I think it's John Kirby. It's weird because I'm like,
we're gonna
have to try.
We're gonna go to archive, and I'm gonna find you the Spider-Man stuff that I have.
Because we got to try and find Jack Kirby.
Yeah, we're gonna see if it's on there because there's stuff on there that I can't find anywhere else.
I'm so happy someone else remembered Jack Kirby Time Warner because I used to think I made that up.
It took me a while. I didn't know it by name, but when you started when you started talking about
because like the first one is like
I know what that is.
They go to like medieval ages, and for some reason the knights have dinosaurs they're jousting.
Yeah, I remember this. I haven't thought of that in 2 decades, but yeah,
fair. But yeah, they actually had a lot of. I remember they had a Flintstones VHS, and it opens with like this archaeologist like dusting for like old, and they find like old.
Yeah, I read that
Flintstones episode. Yeah,
I read that one
because because Hanna-Barbera released a lot of their stuff on VHS. A lot of their stuff.
Yeah, that was for a while. That was the only place I could get Scooby-Doo in the Ghoul School.
That's actually where I discovered.
I had Scooby-Doo and the Boo Brothers on tape.
That's actually how I discovered Flintstone Kids, because I used to rent
that was on TV with me. That was on Boomerang. When I used
to rent Flintstone Kids a lot, and I was mostly like, oh no, another Flintstone Kids one. Just get to the episodes with Captain Caveman, because Captain Caveman was the best part of that show.
I'm trying to think anything else. Like I said, I don't have that many memories about Hollywood videos in Linesville, just because I never really went there, and it honestly went out of business before everybody else did. Yeah. Like I want to say even before Giant Eagle went out.
I mean,
they went out
because as much as I try not to act like my town is more podunk than yours. Sadly, Linesville I think just didn't.
It probably just couldn't support it, and just like I said, most people. Because I lived in Linesville for a while. And everybody I knew, we went to Hollywood Video.
Yeah, I was about to say most people in Linesville went to.
Yeah, we went to Hollywood Video because they had a better selection.
I mean, it's not like you were that much farther away. It's like a 5-minute trip.
We didn't do Blockbuster either. Like we never had a membership. That was why. I think we went there once.
Yeah, no, we
just never had a membership, and it just wasn't. My mom was like, I'm not paying for this when. We can just go to Hollywood Video and get the same stuff, probably a little cheaper.
Yeah, so unfortunately, neither him or I have like much nostalgia for Blockbuster, which is a shame because like Blockbuster had some cool stuff.
When did Blockbuster in Meadville go out? Was that like 2007?
I want to say it was 2007.
Yeah,
I want to say it was before I graduated.
Because here's the thing, that went out right around the time that I remember my first experience with Netflix. When Netflix I was renting DVDs.
Oh yeah, back when Netflix, you would order DVDs online to
they would mail it to your house. I did that for a while. I think I rented like
I think you still actually can rent DVDs from Netflix.
I actually got the first Fantastic Four movie from them, Daredevil, and I think the first Chronicles of Narnia movie.
Oh, so
those were the 3 I rented.
Oh, so you got the good stuff.
We got the good stuff.
Although to be fair, I do love the original Chronicles of Narnia movie. That's actually pretty good. Yeah, because like I never really went to. I think the times I did go to Blockbuster, it was mostly because they had some. I rented some anime stuff from them, and they actually had the Sonic Sat AM cartoon on VHS, which is a shame because that show didn't really have a lot of releases. In fact, I don't think they got a DVD release until like much later, and even then, Deke was really not good at releasing that show on DVD.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't they also used to have posters up along near the ceiling?
They did actually. They had it. In fact, I think they even sold posters too.
No, they did. I remember that. They never had anything I wanted. But I remember looking through them.
Yeah, it was kind of weird because I always remember I never really visited the front of it. I always went to the back to get animation, but they did have some interesting movies in the front.
I remember they had a cowbell attached to the front doors.
They did have a cowbell attached to their front doors. I remember because I used to go in and be like, "Hey, cowbell." Yeah, it was kind of always funny because like it was such a weirdly designed store because like basically you had the front store part of the store which you could see outside because they had a window, and they had like I think basically more like the grown-up-y more movies you'd have.
Like all the war movies, because it got to a point where I would rent a lot of war movies. Those were always up front. When you walked in the door, they were the first thing on the left-hand side.
And then going down, they had basically like pretty much it was kind of more like their retro stuff and stuff like and then of course their horror stuff way in the back.
Yeah, because they were actually the first place I ever rented Texas Chainsaw Massacre from.
Yeah.
Again, and that tape was almost gone at that point too.
Yeah. Because I used to rent a lot from there. The stuff I rent was actually the original Back to the Future trilogy, the Naked Gun trilogy. For some reason, I loved the Naked Gun movies as a kid. I would rent them even when I shouldn't have been renting them, but I didn't.
33.5. That's got to be a record for that many sequels.
Yeah, that's and then I would rent I actually used to rent the Super Mario Brothers movie a lot from that place. A lot, because I loved that.
Fuck you, Luigi.
I actually love that movie. Like I unironically love the Super Mario Brothers movie. I know it's not anything like the games, but it's enjoyable.
No, you don't understand. They want you to forget about it. That's why it's not on any of the streaming services, and you can only get the Blu-ray if it's imported from England.
I think a lot of that has to do more with the fact that I think technically I don't know who owns that, because the fact that
Nintendo I think actually owns it.
Yeah, well then I think because they were made by like an out of funk TV thing, so I don't even think it's really hard to find, which is a shame because I actually kind of love that movie.
Yeah, for more information on that, you guys should also, again, check out Cinemassacre's General Reviews episode of Super Mario Brothers, where they actually discuss why is it so hard to find.
And if you want to talk about the history of the movie, or if you want to know why it's so bad, look up Matt McMuscles' What Happened on the Mario Brothers movie, because he actually goes into a lot of the behind the scenes of that movie. But yeah, I always remember because I was coming home, I think, for Christmas, and I noticed that the Hollywood Video sign was gone. I'm like, Mom, what happened to the Hollywood?
Because they left that up for a year. I remember that for a year and a half, it was still up.
Because I didn't go home for college because I lived an hour away, so it was hard for me to go home. I got back and I'm like, Mom, what happened to the video place? And she's like, oh yeah, they had to sell it because nobody rents DVD videos anymore. And I remember it was actually really, really saddening for me because it was so much a part of my childhood.
No, same actually. I even I knew why they were going out because Netflix by that point was a thing.
No.
Hulu was a thing. The streaming services had really kicked off at that point. And even then, most people at that point had satellites. You had all the movie channels and stuff. If you're like me, you have the 600 channels. You have 600 channels. You have nothing to fucking watch still. Yeah. But
I'll say this because most
it was just pirating in the internet really had become a thing.
Yeah.
People were it had moved away from the period where people would go to a store and rent something because they couldn't find it or it wouldn't be on TV. It had swung the opposite way to, the internet's taken off now and the internet's gotten so much better. Plus YouTube was a thing, along with a million other video sites that rode the wave of that. So it was so much easier to find stuff you wanted to watch at home for free. Why would you...
Or for much cheaper.
Yeah, so why would you honestly go out and rent it or go to a place and hope they had it?
Yeah.
When you could just get it more accessibly on the internet. I understood why that happened, and I think as soon as the internet really started to take off, I think anybody that owned a video store, they kind of saw that it was
the writing on the wall.
It was coming to an end.
Which is kind of weird because there is still technically one video store left, and that is of course Family Video.
Which that's actually they're gonna sell now.
Yeah.
They're going out now.
I remember because after basically everything else sold out, we actually got a Family Video in Meadville.
Which I remember being like, why are we getting a family video when we just lost Hollywood Video, Blockbuster's gone, Hollywood Videos is gone, Giant Eagle's store is now a pharmacy.
Yeah. And I don't even remember when Giant Eagle got rid of theirs.
It was right around 2007, 2008. Yeah. I think they just got rid of it.
And to be honest, I don't even think it was because videos were going out. I think basically just because
it was right around the time they remodeled the store.
Yeah, I think it was just because I think there's licensing fees you have to go through with video stores.
Plus, you gotta remember that Giant Eagle was an independent.
Yeah, that too.
That was it. Wouldn't surprise me if that was just something they did, to kind of draw in some extra money.
But Family Video was so weird. It's it was very much it was for families they always endorse this is you can get all sorts of kids videos here, you don't have to worry about scary stuff the kids could run into, but yet at the back they had a porn section. I always found that so weird for something called Family Video.
I don't remember that.
They actually had an adult section, but you couldn't go back there unless you were over 18, obviously.
Yeah.
But I also remember because Brad Jones talked about Family Video a lot in his. That one always made me laugh too because he was like, I actually rented a porno and I didn't want to get weird looks up at the register, so I got a couple of Donald Duck cartoon. Which I'm like, you probably got way weirder looks.
What's this man playing tonight?
I remember because they did a parody of it in one of the cinema songs.
Donald Duck provides the best aftercare.
Well, no, it was. I love it because like he did a sketch based on that where he's like, why'd you buy some Daffy Duck movies? I'm like, I just thought I wouldn't get weird looks. You probably got weirder looks. It looks like you got an appetizer before you got onto the main dish. Which I'm like, that's horrible. But at the same time,
that thing you told me about the saran wrap and the rubber bands.
Yeah,
that's what that reminds me of.
Oh man, but to be fair, Family Video just had this weird feeling of it whenever you went in there. Like it just kind of had like this almost, which is weird because I think Blockbuster had the same feeling. But like you go in there and it kind of felt like you were
being watched.
Like not only being watched, but like it felt like it was more it was.
It didn't feel very welcoming.
Yeah, whereas like Hollywood Video, like I always went in there and I always just loved looking around in there. It had this homey feel to it.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of one of the reasons why I think mom and pop rental video stores were much more interesting than say the big.
Yeah, because like I said, I never really went to Blockbuster.
No, I liked going in there, but like it was more kind of enjoyable to go in there than it was to really rent from there.
Yeah. Well, and like, because somebody like, well, you could rent games there. I'm like, I never had a video game console until like 2009.
Yeah. And even then, I bought all my games just because I
had a PC, you know.
Yeah. But yeah, I never really cared for going into Family Video, especially because I feel like it was really expensive too.
No, it really is. When I was in college, I went to the one that's in Greenville, and because I was like, they had games there. I went and looked, and I'm like, I think it's like $10 for a game for one night. I'm like, fuck that. You could get the game for that price. You could like for half of that, you could go down to Walmart and buy the game, and just have it, or even like get it off the PlayStation Store.
Yeah. And of course, this is back when video games cost $10. Nowadays, they're $50.
Yeah, so it just wasn't. Well, this is like even when I was in college.
Yeah.
Like they had like Black Ops 1 for like I think Black Ops 1 was like $20 a night. And I'm like, for $20, you could just take that 20, put another 20, and you could just go buy the game at GameStop. You could probably even get it used for that much.
But like, I just always remember going into Ohio, and it was a nice feeling. To be fair, it was always kind of fun, you know. Like you got like good grades, or like, you know, it was summer and like, you know, there's nothing really on, so you know we'd go down and I pick out some movies and I just watch those all weekend. You know, it was this weird feeling. And to be honest, as much as like I can watch them, it's kind of saddening knowing that there's really not those kind of stores anymore where you could just go in and you look around.
If you and I were out and about and we found one that was open, you and I would be like, we gotta go in.
Yeah, we gotta at least go in. You know, and to be fair, I feel like maybe someday video stores may return, but more as like
I feel like they're kind of like vinyl in that.
Yeah.
You know, there's a certain nostalgia for it.
Yeah, there's a certain nostalgia to VHS, and because people always think I'm crazy that I'm like, but look at vinyl. Vinyl like was dead for years, and then they were like, well, there's just a sound you have with vinyl that you can't get anywhere else.
And I mean, even with cassettes are starting to make a comeback, which I'm just like, that is.
Which is
I think
that is weird for me.
I think you heard me and Doug's joke where I'm like, no, I'm gonna put this EP on an 8-track.
Yeah. Because
8-track's gonna come back.
I mean, I'm waiting for the day because I have all my old VHSs downstairs. You've seen them.
Well, I mean, the Disney clamshells they've gone back. Those are worth money.
Yeah.
For now, at least, you know, there's been a boom with those.
Oh, I hold on to mine because
it's sentimental value.
But like I'm waiting for the day I see VCRs being re-put into Walmart like 45s. But you know, because there's such a thing.
Blu-ray VCR combos.
Yeah.
That's what's going to be the next thing. You heard it here. You heard it first. You're going to remember the Hyphen.
Blu-ray VCR combos. But you know, like, because that's one of the things I always, when James made that library for his movies and he made it look like a video
when he first made that and unveiled it, I was like, holy crap!
Yeah, no.
Like I got hit with that nostalgia because it looked like Hollywood Video a little bit.
Well, no, like from the stool with the computer and like the
shelves and the bright construction.
The fact that he had
I looked at it, I was like, that's Hollywood Video.
The fact that he had like promotional posters and promotional like the Star Trek V promotional thing.
Yeah, with Captain Kirk holding Star Trek V,
which is such a. I'm like,
and then he's got another one in the other store because it's Spock.
Yeah, like that just. There's just something weird, like weirdly nostalgic about it that just, like, because I remember
it just reminds you of another time.
Yeah, no, it really does.
That you couldn't really do that business now.
No, you really couldn't, and it's just kind of sad, really. Like I don't get me wrong, I wouldn't want to go back to where I couldn't just go onto YouTube.
But
and
at
stuff,
the same time, it's like you miss what was, but you don't want to give up what is now.
Yeah,
like it's kind of like with me. When I got back into the Raimi trilogy as hard as I did, that was like one of my things. I was like, I wish I could go back to where this in TAS was like the only Spider-Man you had.
Yeah.
Whereas now you have so much choice with like, you have the Raimi films and you have the infinite number of animated stuff and you have the Garfield movies and you have the MCU ones. There's so much selection, but I feel like while selection is always a great thing, because then you can tailor it to your own taste.
No, you should.
There's something about there's one movie out and you either like it or you don't. Like there was just something about it. Like I remember when that first movie dropped on VHS.
Oh man, yeah.
Everybody at school had that tape.
Oh yeah.
Everybody talked about it. Everybody had the toys. There was it was just one of those things. I don't remember hearing a single person back then saying anything bad about that.
Oh no. Like I it's so weird because nowadays like the feelings of those movies has swung around to everybody, like either you like them or you hate them. But
it's really come back around because there was a while everybody hated them after 3 came out. Then TSAM 2 was the bomb that it was, and we kind of swung back to being, okay, you either like it or you don't. And I think we've really stayed there with it.
I think more of the problem is now, like, the MCU fandom can kind of be, like nothing was good before it. Which I'm like, that's not really fair. I don't think that's correct, and that's not necessarily fair. No.
Am I saying that, like, that Fantastic Four Rise of the Silver Surfer is, like, one of the best things compared to the MCU? No, I'm not. I hope you're not. If I do, I want you to smack me.
Trust me, I will.
But you get what I'm saying. Like, there was a certain type of it's a certain type of nostalgia where you're like, it was a little simpler. I guess that's kind of what we're really getting at with the rental stuff. It was just a simpler time.
I don't know. It just reminds me of nights where I'd have we bought pizza. I got myself my Coke, and I'm sitting in front of the TV with remote in hand, and I'm watching some cartoon collection I rented, or I'm watching like Back to the Future. It just
or like TMNT or something.
Like oh yeah. Then I kind of miss the days when like you could go into like even like stores like Walmart and Kmart. You could see really weird stuff mixed in with like the stuff that's out.
I miss seeing I miss seeing VHS at Walmart.
Yeah, no, there's something just to be said about
it's something like if VHS was the comeback and you saw Jamie loading them pushers.
Oh no!
I'd be like, what?
I'd be like, oh my god, VHS! I don't even know what I'd buy, but I
don't even know if VCR in my room, but I'm gonna buy some.
I'm gonna buy some.
I'm gonna buy some of that.
Thankfully, we still have a VCR, but
I do too. But I think when we move, I might ask my parents, like, can I just have that VCR?
Because let me tell you something really hilarious. I was in the Kmart that we used to have
before it went out.
Yeah, and my mom was doing something, so I'm like, I'm just gonna peruse the electronics section,
just see what they have. Because this was when they were getting rid of everything. They were cleaning the back room out.
I'm going. Well, this is way before this.
This is back before this.
Yeah. Because I want to say this was actually still back when it was the game. They had the GameCube, the Xbox, and the PS2.
Oh, they sold the video game demo things on the very end. Yeah.
Because I want to say this was like high school for me, so like 2007, 2008. I'm perusing through the DVDs. They had a Jimmy Neutron clamshell there. Among their DVDs, they had Jimmy Neutron on VHS
in a clamshell.
For $5.
They probably couldn't sell it.
Well, yeah,
nobody wanted it.
Nobody wanted it. But I was like, "What are you doing here, little one?"
That'd be like, because obviously we work at a Walmart.
Speaking of, actually, I have a Walmart one too, and this was I was in college.
That'd be like, honestly, like it's kind of like. So this is something I meant to bring up. I'm not trying to interrupt, but this is something cool that relates to this. Because you were there that day. So the other day, we're at work, and it's a slow day, coronavirus being what it is, and hopefully we don't get in trouble for me mentioning that.
Yeah, but, whatever. I think we're far enough in that the bots won't find anything.
So what happened was, I'm taking cardboard back, and I had to take this weird route in the back by GM Receiving. Now, the GM Receiving is where Layaway used to be.
Right.
And I had to take this weird route around because one of our managers was using some equipment, and I just didn't want to wait. So I was like, I'll just go around.
Right.
We had a 2003 Ang Lee Hulk
I remember
cut out on the wall stuck there. A little sun faded, but I could still tell what it was. I sat there and looked at it. I'm like, what?
I actually forgot about it was there until you told me because I remember seeing
I looked at it and I was like, so I go back and I'm getting more cardboard. I tell him about it. I'm like, hey, did you know there's an Ang Lee Hulk cutout in the back by where Layaway was? And he's like, yeah, there is. And I'm like, I'm gonna rip that off the wall. I'm gonna see if I can get that off the wall because I'm gonna take that home.
Yeah, because I don't think anyone's gonna miss that.
Well, because he was even like, I don't know if you're gonna be able to get it off though, because it's been up there for 2 decades. And so I told him like,
actually more.
I'm like, so I tell him like, well, let's see what happens, And so I go, I come back like an hour, like a half hour later, and he's like, Adam, I got it.
And I was like,
right off the wall.
How long were you peeling that back there?
2 seconds. I literally, that's right, I gave it a tug and popped off.
Yeah, because I don't.
That glue was so old and brittle that it just popped.
Speaking of, I don't know what Walmart we were in. I want to say it was Sharon, but I can't remember. I was perusing through the video games, and again, this was like 2011, 2012. They had a Game Boy game there, a legitimate Game Boy game in the box.
That's like how, you remember when we had the PS2 game in electronics for a while?
Yeah. I think there's some Wii games back there now.
There's a couple still kicking around because we're obviously not going to dump them. We're going to try to get rid of them.
But it's always so funny when you find
stuff that's just been kicking around
the back for years. Because I know because technically they got all the electronics. I wish I was
sometimes stuff falls behind the bins and it just hides.
Well, then I honestly wish you and I worked in electronics and we could go back to where they have all the electronics stored up because I want to see just the weird old shit that they just have.
One of these days when we're on lunch, we'll have to ask Jamie, be like, hey, can we just go back and look through your bins?
Or even just be like, Jamie, you gotta let us know if you
find any weird stuff,
obscure, you gotta let us know because we will buy it. We'll talk to the manager. We will get it bought because we will help you get rid of it.
Yeah, but
because I remember I saw I think it was I remember we were talking to someone and they talked about you showed me a picture of someone found I want to say the Spider-Man movie toys or something that they'd found in the back and it was all sun damaged and it was
oh yeah I remember telling you about that
because we go to this toy store up in Erie that's this old and they have some really sun damaged toys in cases, and it's amazing when you find stuff like that. Even if they're sun damaged, they're still worth something because it's
still in the packaging.
It's still in the packaging, yeah.
You'd crack it open, it would still have that brand new toy smell.
No, yeah. I kind of think that we're kind of come to the part we should probably wrap up.
Yeah, we've really reached the end of this, but that's just kind of our little recollections of just video renting and similar related topics, just a little bit of walking down memory lane.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's always kind of funny because because I think a lot of the reasons people my generation are so nostalgic about stuff is just because technology evolves so rapidly.
No, it really did.
Because I remember a time when it would take hours just to get an internet page to load.
I remember it took 5 years for me to get a DVD player.
Yeah.
And then it seemed like Blu-ray's out. Yeah. I'm like, what the hell's Blu-ray? I have DVD.
Well, now I feel like a lot of people forget we were in a period where you had VHS on the shelf, DVD on the shelf,
and Blu-ray.
Not only Blu-ray,
HD DVD, which nobody remembers.
The fact that they were trying to put TV shows and stuff onto Game Boy cartridges. Those weird MP3 players where you pop a little tab out.
Hit clips?
Yeah, hit clips.
Yeah.
It's just so interesting to me because
this is another one. The demo thing where you would scan the barcode for the CD.
Oh my god, yeah.
Yeah, those.
Oh, I forgot about those. Oh, I remember when you could listen to music in stores.
I wonder if Jamie has some of those kicking around in the back.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I'm going to have to ask him about that.
But because I think the reason why a lot of us are so nostalgic about it is just because this thing existed,
and then it was
gone.
You thought it was going to be there for a while, and then it was gone.
For some of you, it's probably like your dad.
Wow, that's.
Sorry.
You are sick and mean.
Sorry, I just couldn't pass up the opportunity.
But
anyway,
I think that's gonna do it for this episode, guys. As always, I'm Average Show Squad.
I'm Zongets134.
And as always, we ask you remember the hyphen and be kind and rewind.
Take care.